Be proactive, not reactive. Be proactive, not reactive. In your business, if you want to eliminate the stresses and the fires and the day-to-day challenges as much as you possibly can, minus the unforeseen circumstances, if you want to eliminate all of those things as much as possible, it's about being proactive in your business. It's about having the ability to see things before they happen. You're like a fucking psychic, right? You're like, oh fuck. But the more experience that you have in business, the more experience you have on site, the more that you will see the things that will go wrong before they happen, right? So it's about figuring out, being proactive and assessing the challenges that might arise, because there's going to be different jobs, there's going to be different things, there's going to be all this sort of stuff, and it's about being proactive. It's not about, this is why it's so fucking important to not be so heavily on the tools if you are running a business, because if you're in the tools, if you're like working so physically hard every day, you will get tired, right? And you won't be making the smartest, best decisions. This is where space and stepping away from the business and stepping away from the tools can actually be really beneficial for you. Because when you are stepping away from the tools, you have the ability to see things before they happen. Because you know what it's like on site. Everyone that's started their own construction business, their trade business, knows that you know what's going to happen, right? You know what goes wrong, you know the challenges, and you know all that sort of shit. So it's like, cool. Now take a step back, take a breath, and start looking at everything and start realizing how you can eliminate all this bullshit by being proactive at the beginning of your business. Start structuring, start scheduling, start setting up systems in your business that allow you to have challenges. So for instance, my bathroom and kitchen renovation company, I originally would just be me on site, and then a couple of trades would come in, and then you hire someone, and then you're like, okay, cool, well now that I've hired someone, I'm gonna have to give them the knowledge that I have, because they didn't quote, they didn't speak to the client, they need to know the conversation that we had. So it's like, okay, cool, well I could go rock up on site and I could go work out the measurements and I could draw up a rough plan, or I could go get CAD drawings and proper plans from a designer. Having proper plans, elevations in place that can be placed on site for the trade, so they know exactly what they're doing. I used to just like draw out little floor plans and yeah, this is roughly where the bath's going, and then I'd go on and then I'd measure it all myself, and then we'd mark centers and we'd do all this. Only to have a phone call like, yo, like what are we doing here? 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 Because I'd have 6 different trades calling me and being like, well, what's the exact measurement of this? What's the exact location of this? It's like, fuck, that's a problem to solve, right? So, cool. Get CAD drawings, get elevations, be proactive. As I continue to scale, my motto is always less is more, right? Less is more, less is more, less is more. So, less stress for me, less phone calls for me, gives me more opportunity to take a step back, to go for a walk with my family, go spend quality time. And it's like, okay, cool. And I'm not receiving 10, 15 phone calls because the guys have what they need on site. So I'm being proactive. Ordering materials, ordering skips, having things ready as much as you possibly can. It's on onus to me, like at this current state of my business, to have things organized as much as I possibly can, so it's easy for the guys. Instead of receiving a phone call and having to react, right? Having to wait for things to pop up for me to then solve that issue. I solved that issue before I had to solve it, instead of a phone call, frantic phone call, which then led to another phone call, which then led to another phone call. Because I was proactive, I've eliminated so many different phone calls. Because at the end of the day, your sites should be set up that you don't actually have to be in comms with anyone. You don't have to be on site. You should have a proper plan in place. So be proactive instead of reactive.